Hello and welcome to Motivational Monday. Our goal is to help you to start your week with strong mental health. And remember, these aren't Christian issues or non-Christian issues. These are people issues. So we're glad that you're joining us from wherever you happen to be on your journey. We're back today with our friend and guest, Peter Pinon, who's a licensed professional counselor of more than 10 years. Peter loves Jesus. He loves helping people. And I'm excited to have you back, Peter. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. So glad to be here. It's good to see you again.
You as well. And it's always great to catch up and just kind of see how each other is doing as we,
Yeah.
prepare for these times together.
Yes. No, it's good, man. It's good. Love it.
Yeah. And so, our world seems to be in
Hmm.
uh, this ongoing spiral. I think I want to call it
Yeah.
one thing
Yeah.
after another. From
Hmm.
pandemic to murder hornets to a
Yeah.
resurfacing of serious racial tensions, and I'm
Yeah.
sure the list continues. I said this
Hmm.
before, and I'll say it again, that this season is ripe for mental health issues to surface and
Yeah.
overwhelm anyone. It really doesn't matter who you are, what your background is. If you've ever dealt with it before, this season is just ripe
Hmm.
for it. And so our topic for
Yeah.
today, I think, is perfect. It's resilience, and really
Yeah.
trying to figure out what does resilience look like, and that uh,
Yeah.
and how to set other people up to be resilient as well. If we may already be in a healthy place, I guess, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
so my first question for today is, what does resilience look like in a season like this?
Yeah. No, I think it's a great question, and it's something we have to keep on asking ourselves. And maybe we just start off with a working definition that I kind of keep on going in my head during times
Yeah.
like this. And so it's like this idea of resilience is the ability to recover when you face changes or challenges. So
Mm,
our ability to recover when we face changes or challenges, and that's where we all are. I mean, you set it up perfectly, because we're trying to recover,
yeah.
and at different levels, individually, in our family, in our community, in our church, as a country, and as the world. So a lot of times we think health is the absence of illness,
Mm,
and so we get sad, or we start to criticize ourselves for feeling that initial hit of the
yeah.
challenge or the changes that are hitting. But resilience helps us to recognize that it's not that you never get sick, it's not that you never have challenges, it's that when those challenges hit, how do you recover?
Yeah.
And so one thing that I for a long time, I put a rubber band on my wrist
Mm,
just to remind myself of, I'm trying to be like that rubber band. Not that I don't get stretched out, but that I can come back to my original
wow.
state. So we stretch out and we come back. And if we think about it, people that we admire and respect from the Bible, people that we admire and respect from history, are
Yeah.
those people that took those hits. They faced these challenges, but then we saw them come back. So that, I think we could pull up, any of these characters, David, Joseph, Moses. They're these people that had resilience,
Yeah.
and so that helps us to start to wrap our minds around this idea.
That's so good. I mean, just the rubber band image and the ability to bounce back ultimately.
Yeah,
I think that alone is encouraging when you think about it, because the you're absolutely right. We tend to see and kind of uh, embrace health as the idea of complete, absolute, just no sickness at all. But there's something powerful about knowing that it's your ability to bounce back.
yeah,
Um,
sure.
and so my question in thinking on that, and thinking about others even now, is what does it look like for those who may feel like, I think I'm doing all right in this area. I don't necessarily
Yeah,
feel that I am personally as taxed or pressured or whatever the case is. I may be in a better place to try to help others. What does it look like for them to try to help someone else who's struggling with resilience?
I think if we go back to our definition and we look at some people that we know are experiencing challenges,
Hmm.
um, we identify them, and I say just start with a check-in. You just either a call or a text, and just see how they're doing. And so sometimes that's what really helps, is just that you started there and you gave people an opportunity to let you know that they might be struggling. And then if they open up to you, then I'd say try and have a conversation about it. That's the second thing of like, can you talk about these things? Because a lot of us are experiencing the same challenges, and some people might be experiencing multiple challenges.
Yeah.
And the last thing that I would say is have a follow up. So many of us do so well at the check-in, and we schedule that first conversation, but as a church and as a community, so I know we're talking to people from the church and also people from the community, is being able to go that step further and have a follow-up conversation and
Yeah.
say, hey, look, I know I checked in 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, at the beginning of the whole season, but come back and say, hey, how are you doing? How's that stuff going? And that's how we can encourage resilience in that way.
Yeah. And I think in what you just said too, because as soon as you said, schedule that phone call, I'm imagining the person right now who's just kind of like, well, I don't know what to say, or what if I can't help? And this is something that we talked about at some point before, where in conversations like these, the heart isn't that you're showing up to fix anything. You're just being present,
Mm-mm.
right?
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, that's exactly it. And then I think that's where the natural conversation can take its course. And again, you set it up as, if we feel like we're doing okay in this area, then that means we might have something to offer. There might be something
Yeah.
in that conversation that we can give to them that they may not have yet, that they haven't thought about it. And you can go and not necessarily say, I'm trying to help you be resilient, but
Yeah.
that's our prayer. I mean, that's what we want. We want to be able to help people recover and bounce back from all of these challenges.
Yeah. And one of the things for anyone who's watching right now that I do want to point out and try to make as obvious as possible is that statistically, thinking about it, you are connected to at least one person in your immediate circle who may be
Yeah.
struggling with resilience right now. If it's not on one issue, it's on another. And just reaching out and saying, "Hey, how are you? You are on my heart. You're on my mind," may be enough to begin that journey with them and begin to walk with them. So, if you're in a circle and you're just kind of like, I don't know, I haven't really, no one has said anything. Sometimes you just have to ask. You know.
That's good. It's really
Um,
good.
And so each one of these episodes, we try to end with what we call a motivational tip for the day, kind of a motivation Monday tip.
Hmm.
And the goal of this tip is that it's something small that you can do to take a first step almost, or just begin to move in the right direction on the topic. So Peter, I love what you have here. Would you talk us through our motivational tip for today?
Yeah, I think it builds off of something that we can do for ourselves and someone else. Is just think about a time when you faced a significant challenge and you overcame. Just we're trying to bring up this resilience example, and when you do that, reflect on it deeply. There's so many of us that have overcome so much, and it's like we overcome and then we just don't want to think about it anymore. But there's richness in reflecting on that. And let me give you a few questions that I've thought of. Is what did it feel like to overcome that challenge? What did you do? What did you do to overcome? There might be some practical wisdom there
Yeah.
that you can capitalize on and use it again in the future. When you reach out to somebody else, you might be able to share some of those things with them. Thinking about who supported you in that season, and then how did you make it? Was it other resources? Was it the community? Was it the church? Like, what are those other resources that you accessed? And then finally, but not limited to, there may be other questions, but this
Yeah.
last one is, what did you learn? What are those lessons that came up in that season? And that's a good thing that we can do in this season, because we can start to get a little preachy here, but man, sometimes you need to have like, hey, if I did it then, I can do it again. If God did
Yeah.
it then, we can do it again. If me and my community did it then, we can do it again. We can make it through this. And that really helps us to stay motivated.
Yeah. And, in you asking those questions, it triggered my mind to think about our seniors, our graduating high schoolers,
Mm,
right? Specifically the high schoolers.
yeah,
Because, they've gone through so much this year, and just it being
yeah.
their senior year and so much. And one of the things that keep coming up every time I speak to them and we just kind of talk through what their experience has been like this year is the idea that regardless of what happened, they did it. You got to the other side of it. You graduated. You did the work.
Yeah,
You did it. And it's so important to be
it's
able to look
awesome.
at that
Mhm.
and say, yeah, we did get to the other end of it. It was difficult. It was trying, whatever, but we did it. And not to bury that away in the back of your mind somewhere, just looking for the next issue or the next challenge, but to celebrate that.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and that builds on this idea that resilience is a skill. The more that we face the challenges and we come back,
That's
every
good.
time you do that, it's like a repetition, and we can get better at it. And we, instead of just feeling so down when we have a challenge, we're like, oh, there's another one. Let me come back at it. I already have some ideas. I've done it, and you can just keep on rolling with that. So, man, congratulations to all of our grads. So
Yeah.
happy for them. But the things that they learned in this season can help them for the rest of their lives.
Oh, yeah.
And that's exciting.
Yeah. It's one of those hidden gems, that comes out of difficult seasons. So, Peter, I just love this. I really, really love this. This has been so helpful, and it's such for me. It can come across as I'm listening and we're just kind of talking through it. It can come across like, hey, this is pretty self-explanatory. This is pretty simple, but so powerful, and so powerful for helping others as well. These small things that we can do can be so life-changing and impactful for the people around us. So thank you so much for sharing today, Peter.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And well, everyone, that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching yet another episode of Motivational Monday. I hope this sets you up to start your week off strong with strong mental health. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you found it really helpful, be sure to share it with a friend. God bless you. Until next time.